It's season 7, episode 1 of the final season of our favorite show to watch on the air. This is the Scandalous Scandal Recap, season 7, episode 1. I am Larry Brown Jr., your host, joined by my beloved co-host, the Janiyah Wright. Janiyah, how are you?
LBJ, I am doing so well. I am so excited. I cannot hear what I say. I cannot believe we are back together again. And LBJ, I cannot believe how good this episode was. Okay,
It was
so good.
so good. It was so good. And I'm so glad that we are here. Let me tell you something. It has been some time since we've all been together in this form. So we're so glad that you are here. The live chat is live and popping already while the show was on and Richardson was watching from work. And special shout out to you for already being the first person in the chat. We also have Dan Blakemore, as always, Lacey Rideout, Miss L.
Yay!
We have Matthew Miles. Matthew Miles is new, I believe. Ida Matrix is here. We also have S.I. Porter and Tiffany Franklin. Who else is joining with us tonight, Janiyah?
LBJ, of course, Yolanda Baker is here. LBJ, Pla Turner is here. Oh my gosh, we have Sweets is here. Oh, LBJ, the gang's all here. The gang is all here.
Listen, everybody is here. We know this is the first episode, and some people might be watching How to Get Away with Murder, but we do this live immediately after the East Coast broadcast. So glad you all are here. As you might be able to tell, I'm a little under the weather. I and my wife have a ton of daycare infant germs circulating through our home. So we are sick and under the weather. The entire house is sick. Grayson and Candace both have pink eye. I am dealing with I'm dealing with something. If someone could please start helping me to locate this Bosharan tea that they were sipping on the episode of Scandal tonight, I would certainly appreciate it because I've got a Detroit favorite, Verner's, if you know about Verner's, I have some water here with me to help me get through this episode. So please bear with me tonight. Janiyah, are you feeling all right today?
LBJ, you know what I gotta tell you? I've been better, but the episode lifted my spirits. But I have to tell you, LBJ, just before you logged on, we were in the chat and people were like, "Where's LBJ?" And I said, "Don't let him blame baby Grayson for the reason he's late." And LBJ, you got on and did just that. Hashtag typical. People have kids, and then the kids get the blame.
Just blame the kids.
Everything.
Yeah, just blame the kids.
Late for work. I was dropping off my kids. You know, don't have your money for the ski trip. Something came up with my child. Okay,
hilarious.
People, don't blame the kids.
We are so glad to be here. I'm so glad to be here. This is literally the beginning of the end, everyone. We've watched every single episode of this show together.
Yes.
This is it. So let's get in here.
Let's do it, LBJ.
Yeah, I'm gonna open my Verner's. Wait.
Yay!
All right, there it goes. We can officially begin.
Let the season begin. And LBJ, begin it did. I cannot believe the storylines as they have panned out. And before we start, LBJ, I think it makes sense to just do a quick little reminder of where we were at the end of season 6.
I love it. Take it away. Yeah.
Right at the end of season 6, we experienced the biggest table turn, most unexpected storyline that we have ever seen on Scandal. Number 1, Cyrus and Mellie became a Republican president and a Democratic vice president. Okay, this is a cross-party ticket, folks, and they are in the White House. The second thing that happened that we never thought would happen is that Olivia has become the command. She's the head of B613. And the third thing, LBJ, in terms of huge shakeup, no one saw it coming. Quinn became the head of OPA and Associates. So LBJ, that is where we left things at the end of season 6. With all of us with our eyes wide open, mouth agape, confused because we couldn't believe all that had occurred. LBJ, take it away. Season 7, episode 1.
Totally. We could not believe all that occurred. And we opened tonight picking up where we left off. The reason that Cyrus Bean is the vice president is because Luna Vargas is no longer the vice president because she is deceased. She is now the late Luna Vargas. And so Cyrus Bean he's been installed as the vice president, as the 45th vice president of the United States of America. If only Shondaland were real. If only we could really live in Shondaland. Let's just take a moment and think about that, right? Then we see sauntering down the hallways of the White House one Olivia Pope, and she's wearing white pumps and she's dressed in a dark color. This entire episode, to me, Olivia Pope has mimicked the aesthetic of her mother, Maya Pope. And so to me, as I said at the end of one of our at our final episode for season 6, to me, Olivia is kind of teetering between darkness and light. And I think that was one of the themes that I would like to present and carry on through this entire conversation for Olivia. I think that Olivia has a lot on riding on her right now, and we meet her with stuff riding on her, and she's riding on it, and rode she did tonight. Olivia meets with the man in her office named Senator Michael. Senator Michaels is trying to pass an education bill, and this education bill, or he's trying to pass an education bill or he's trying to block what they are trying to pass from Mellie Grant. And Michaels comes in there, and Michaels, this is like, look, I got my thing. Olivia's like, I'm Olivia Pope. Guess what? I've got something for you. You see this? This is an envelope. This really is a pamphlet to a water heater. But this is an envelope, and inside this envelope is some incriminating information. If you don't know who I am, this envelope will get you to know who I am. And by the way, if you don't know who I am, welcome to my world. It's an envelope-filled world. It's an envelope-filled world that will, and those were literally her words from the script, guys, an envelope-filled world. This world shows people all of their secrets. It divulges their secrets. It tears down families. It destroys careers and futures. And this is what she essentially presents to Senator Michaels to get him to come to her side. And he does. He comes to her side, and thus the gladiating begins for the episode. Janiyah, after that, Olivia, we cut to the new Pope. We cut to the PA, the QPA, not the OPA. We cut to Quinn Pope and Associates. Don't know if I like calling them Quinn Pope and Associates or QPA. Not sure if I'm a fan of that. And neither was David Rosen, because he's in there. He's like, are you going to call this Quinn Pope and Associates? And everybody's like, ha. I was kind of hemming and hawing internally, because I'm like, do we now call them gladiators still? Are they gladiators here, or are they not? What are your thoughts there?
LBJ, well, first of all, for those who are new to the chat, there's something you need to know. I am no fan of Quinn. Never have been, never will be.
Listen, you have a few more episodes in this season to get your life together, Janiyah, because there's a change coming, and this is an envelope-filled world. I'd hate to have to give them an envelope that says Janiyah right on there.
Please don't go to my children's playground and photograph them in the swing set. LBJ, OPA and Associates has officially become QPA and Associates. And what has happened when they lost the Olivia Pope name, LBJ, they done lost their credibility. And so when we first meet QPA and Associates, what do we see, LBJ? We see all of the gladiators. And I think it's important for us to go down that list, right? So it's Quinn, it's Huck, it's Charlie. He's still hanging on.
I knew you were going to do this, because I know where you're going. I knew you were going to do this. Go ahead.
LBJ, it is Gabby Abby Red, okay? LBJ, the gang's all here. You know who's not there, LBJ? I think.
Tell me, Janiyah, who's not there?
LBJ, Marcus isn't there. Why? We know where Marcus is. Marcus is president of the Fitzgerald Grant Foundation. So he's in Vermont. Now, I'm sure we will see Marcus again.
Vermont is for lovers.
I'm sure we will see Marcus again, but he is no longer a gladiator as of right now. And so LBJ, we see QPA and Associates, and what's happening? They're there with David Rosen, attacking him, saying, David Rosen, give us a client. Because guess what, LBJ? They have no clients because Quinn is the worst. Nobody knows who she is, all right? But LBJ, just as
don't do it. I'm telling you, I've got the envelope ready. I've got the envelope ready.
Sweet in the chat said, "Don't you start with Quinn already, Janiyah." I know.
Thank you, Zoe. Thank you so much, Zoe.
It's so true, but she brings it on herself. She really does. I think we can all agree. But LBJ, so we see QPA and Associates, and then finally a client does walk in the door. They let David Rosen go in peace for now because they have a client. Who's this client, LBJ? It's a woman who's looking for her father. Her father is a scholar, as far as she knows, that has been, He's been in a faraway land. How do you pronounce it? What is it?
Bashwan.
He is in Bashwam, LBJ. And she says,
who, by the way, has wonderful tea and they sip it out of amazing gold cups. And I really need some right now.
Let me ask my assistant. Can you get Larry some Bashwam tea? Thank you. It'll be right over, LBJ.
Thank you.
I want you guys to know that I talk to that same imaginary assistant when I need laundry done. Every time the dishes are just piling up.
How efficient is that assistant? Because we can get that same assistant.
Yeah. Well, don't get this assistant because they're horrible. Okay, there's mail that needs to be sorted. Okay, there's at least 5 loads of laundry here. You need to be fired, assistant. But before I fire you, go get Larry some tea. So LBJ, she's looking for her father. And she comes to QPA and Associates for help. And they are on the case. And LBJ, maybe we should just go through this storyline really quickly of like the Bashwami. How you pronounce it? I'm going to say foreign land.
Excuse me. Y'all, I'm so sick right now. I'm trying to get it together. This is terrible. I've never done a chat this ill. Sorry, guys.
Yeah.
Yes. So the Bashwani people, and they have wonderful Bashwani tea over there. It's not Botswana, and this very well could be. Somebody verify this and fact check. I kid you not. I was trying to fact check this, and my geography class, I did not pay attention in college. So please, someone confirm that this is actually a real country and that it exists. And we're not being Dublayed by Shonda Rhimes, because Dublé is not a real wine either. And we all went looking for Dublé. So please make sure this is not a Dublé moment, and this is a real country, and the tea does exist.
Yes. Now, LBJ.
It's so funny.
First of all, hashtag Flim, okay? Because LBJ is sick.
Wait, I can't. I gotta go on mute. Go.
Hashtag Flim. Poor Candace. Poor Grayson. Okay, hearts out to you guys because something gross is going down, and it is LBJ. All right, but guys, so we see this woman. She's looking for her father, who's in the foreign land I can't pronounce, that we need someone to verify. And then, so QPA's on the case. They're looking for him. They go a digging, all right? And they already know they're up for a really hard fight because the place where he is a place that is notoriously scandalous, notoriously, full of, terror, okay? And full of things like, spies being, taken and then harassed. And it turns out, LBJ, as they start to uncover the details about this father, it turns out, LBJ, he is a spy. Okay, he is working for the CIA. QPA and Associates does exactly what Olivia would have done, frankly, if she were still the head of that agency. Quinn takes herself right to the White House. She takes herself right to command, who is none other than Olivia Pope. And she says, I need some help. LBJ, what did you think of that moment? That moment of Quinn being in that situation, of being at the helm of this agency, uncovering something where she needed command's intervention. And then she goes to command. What were you feeling in that moment?
So I think that moment was pretty defining in so much that Quinn had an opportunity to really just take this case on by herself and not even get involved with Olivia, not even involve Jake at all. And what did she do? She went to the White House, and I was like, Quinn Robin Lindsay, don't do it. And I was like, wait, give her a moment. She's pregnant. Like, she's got baby brain. Yes. She's dealing with a lot of things. She's got to take a lot of bathroom breaks. She's got a snack. She's got to sit
it's hard.
Down. Her ankles might be swollen. Like,
that's right.
She may not have the mental capacity that she normally has as Quinn Robin Lindsay that we know and love, and that Janiyah is growing to know and love by the end of the season, or her computer B613 will come and get her computer. And so I think that Quinn Robin Lindsay went there really to just show also, but I internalized this as a moment for her to go show good faith towards Olivia, that she is on the right track and she's on the right path because her gut instinct was right. This man was a spy. And Olivia affirmed that as she was talking to Jake, her colleague, her fellow brethren in B613, and they confirmed that Quinn's speculation about this man was indeed correct. So I was very grateful that she went there. I want her to be a little more confident as she takes on these cases. Let me take a few steps back though and talk about QPA and just mention that what I love about The Office is that The Office they have no office manager that's come in and redone everything. The table still exists. The window is still there. But most of all, Janiyah, what's still at the office? That magical printer that prints in color and has adhesive backing for them to continue to put all these profile stats on the freaking wall. I love it. I love it.
And LBJ, but I will remind you though, from last, look, I'm about to say last semester. Clearly, I'm in school right now. From last season, LBJ, recall that Quinn did make a few changes, but she did them in Olivia's office. Do you remember this? It was like she brought in, like, I don't know, bric-a-brac, okay, and little shenanigans, and she hung it on the wall, LBJ, and she was nesting is what she was doing after she had become taken over as the leader of the agency. So maybe that main conference room hasn't changed, LBJ, but the name of the agency has changed, and she definitely changed her office. But you're right, LBJ.
Ding dong.
Who is it?
Bonjour, fact checker Francois.
Oh, hey, Francois. It's good to haven't seen you since May. Good to see you.
Well, qu'est-ce que c'est? I've just got done drinking my Dubélé. I just wanted to start QPA, not QPA and Associates, because the A is the Associates.
Got it.
Au revoir. We still are looking for a sound effects bank, folks. If you know something, we got to plug it in. In the meantime, we're going to get my sickness coming talking about ding dong.
Yes, I was about to say your ding dong was quite whack attack. I think we can all agree with that.
Okay, as a side note, so we've got folks in the live chat fact checking. Thank you, everyone who's also joined in. Yolanda Baker is here as well. Janiyah S.I. Porter. Stephanie Beard is here with us tonight. Also, Grace is here. Grace, what's up? We haven't seen you since the spring. But there's so who's this here? It is, I just lost. Okay, no, Adam Matrix says it's called Botswana in Southern Africa. My hobby is doing high count world jigsaw puzzles. So Adam Matrix, I thought that it could have been Botswana as well. But it sounded like they were saying Bashwan. I was listening for that last syllable, and I did not hear it. So I will put that as a maybe strong number 2, but I think that we might be getting Dubélé here. I think we're getting Dubélé.
I think you could be right. And I will tell you this, I still can't pronounce it. So unless it is Botswana, we're in trouble because what is Bashwan? I'm lost.
It's like Bashwan or Bashan.
I think it was, or maybe it was Bashan. So we'll call it the foreign land, LBJ. It's far away. That's what
somebody go back on DVR and put on closed captioning and spell it out and then type it in the live chat so we can do it. Brilliant. We're gladiating.
LBJ, hashtag solutions. And that's why I like working with you. Somebody please see what the captions say. Get the spelling. Yes. LBJ. And so we are talking about the magical printer at QPA, not QPA and Associates. Thank you, Francois. At QPA. All right. Yes. The magical printer is being leveraged, LBJ. We're printing papers. We're printing photos. We're printing data. Okay. And it's getting stuck on the window. And we're tracking down this guy in the CIA. We've leveraged that information. We've gone to Olivia now to verify it. Olivia does verify it. Turns out that it is a CIA person. And she finds that out by working with Jake. I think we'll circle back to the Jake storyline in just a little while.
Yeah. Yeah. Excuse me. Can't get too excited. Oh gosh. Commercial break. Sorry.
Let me ask my assistant. Assistant, can you get this phlegm out of Larry's throat? Because it's really it's gumming up the works. Okay, thank you. My assistant will be right over, LBJ. I can't say he or she, the gender shifts depending on the mood.
Thank you so much.
The assistant will be right over. LBJ, Soul Sessions TV BDHRH. Hey,
I love that sentence name, Soul Sessions. I love that sentence name.
I love it. Soul Sessions says, I thought Jake was done. Listen, me too. Where did he come from? Anyway, we'll get back to that. But the point is, Jake, as you may recall, he has been named is he head of the CIA or what is he head of? He's head of the CIA, right? So he's head of the CIA. Olivia is command.
I think that dog got through the airwaves. I think it got you too.
I got
You got a little B613 in your throat? Is that what happened? You need to submit to Quinn Robin Lindsay, okay? That seed that she's carrying is very strong, okay? There's got vibrations coming through the womb to you, Janiyah. Get your life together. Oh, and IDOM Matrix correct us. It's NSA. It's the National Security Administration.
That's right. I didn't think CIA was right because that felt too small. It was bigger than that.
But maybe it is CIA. Wait, we cannot be. My mind is mentally cloudy because I'm sick. So we got to get this thing together because we cannot be shabby, guys. All right, you know what? CIA or NSA. Someone confirm.
We're going to say intelligence agency.
Absolutely.
He is the head of the key intelligence agency. Okay, and he is the person Olivia deploys to go and figure out what's going on with this CIA agent. He comes back and says, oh yeah, let me confirm for you that is a CIA agent, number one. And number two, he done got. He is captured, okay? And we can't get him soon enough that we will be able to keep him from giving away important secrets. And so Jake's recommendation to Olivia as command was to kill the CIA agent. Now, LBJ, Olivia didn't want to do that. So we're watching Olivia and Jake, LBJ, have a professional tug of war. Where were you in that moment?
So while Olivia and Jake had the professional tug of war, I was watching it because there were many different opportunities for us to engage in this relationship with them in this episode. The first being when Quinn Robin Lindsay shows up to Olivia's door to first deliver the news of what Stephanie Beard is saying is Bashran, the gentleman located in Bashran. And she's saying to Olivia, she's like, listen, we've got this whole thing going on and I need your help. We've got to run point on this. This is our first client and we got to make good. And she's like, okay, cool. Quinn Robin Lindsay's like, okay, I got to come in. She's like, Olivia's like, nope, hold up against the door. Nope, can't come in. Nope, I'm not letting you in. Just give me the folder. Thanks. All right, bye. And then she's at the doorstep like, oh, all I want to do is take a bathroom break. I just want to go pee. Oh, how's your baby, Quinn? How's my godchild doing? How's this? How's that? So we learned that Quinn Robin Lindsay has selected Olivia to be her child's godmother. We learned that she's a true pregnant woman, and so much that she's got to take lots of bathroom breaks. And then we also learned that there's something fishy, something afoot going on in the condo. Side note, why hasn't Olivia moved out of that condo in this new position that she's in? Can we talk about that for a moment? She should be in some kind of single family residence or some kind of luxury high rise with a concierge at the door, like really with a guarded access to that place. That's just an aside for
LBJ. Can I respond to that aside?
Absolutely.
Do you ask Batman to leave the Batcave? No, you do not, LBJ. That apartment, she has reinforced with all of her, technologies, okay? She has got that place on lock. So it may look like an apartment, but it's actually a fortress. And so that's why she hasn't moved. Anyway, okay. Go ahead with what you were saying. Mm-hmm.
So I'm like, somebody's in her bed. So I'm hoping that it's like Russell or somebody random in Olivia's place because she's a free agent. We hope at this point, based off of the final episode of season 6, and we cut back to Olivia inside the condo, the interior of Olivia's place, and Olivia's going into her bedroom with her nice little 4-posted bed, and she's getting in the bed, and who's in her bedroom? A bedfellow by the name of Jake, the one she likes to stand in the sun with, the one she likes to be called all kinds of aliases with, the one that she will go to the ends of the earth for, and he will do for her as well. And they're having a power struggle here, and the power struggle is Jake is like, let's do it again. Olivia's like, we're not doing it again. We've got work to do. He's like, well, no, let's not do it. Let's do it again. I want to do it. Nope. I told you we're done. Like, we did it. Like, there's nothing else left to do. We have work to do. And so he convinces her to do it again. And they say, okay, well, maybe she'll go to work. And they went to work in more ways than one. They went to work in 2 ways. They went to work in the bed and they went to work in the boardroom. And I think that there's this play, yes?
LBJ, now I know we don't want this chat to be 2 hours because you guys know we will just talk and talk. So I don't want to get us too far into the weeds here. But LBJ, I just want to make a point about that moment you just discussed where, Jake convinces Olivia to get back in the bed and to do it again. LBJ, what actually happened from my perspective is that Olivia was dismissing Jake. Okay, she basically said, "You've performed the service that you were brought here to provide. Good night, sir." And Jake there like a wounded puppy, LBJ. Sad, heartbroken, crestfallen. All right. And she basically, LBJ, she basically, LBJ, her attitude about it was almost like, oh, let me just give you this one. Right. So she granted him, LBJ, a second go around. It was not because he convinced her. She made sure that it was on her terms. Right? She gave him permission to stay. And so there was a little power struggle there, and she won that one. Anyway, please continue.
Yes, but all I'll say is I'll summarize this entire Jake and Olivia moment throughout this entire episode by saying Jake has a spigot at the tree of nectar of Olivia. And that tree has been tapped and that tree leaks, okay? That tree leaks and spills nectar left and right.
He can go. It does.
He can go up there like it's harvest season right now. Get your buckets ready, folks, and go up to that Jake spigot and get you some Olivia nectar right now because it is full and flowing and free. Yeah. And so Olivia and Jake throughout this episode have this power struggle, and the power struggle is tied into the thread of this Bashran incident with this man who has now been identified as a CIA spy as well as a patriot, and they are going to try to save this man. Why are they saving him? Because QPA now has to always bring back a body for the client that they're working with. And we know the dark side of things, the B613 side of things is like, whatever, shoot them in the head, tie them up, feed them to the elephants and the dinosaurs, and then they become part of like the Smithsonian exhibit. So they didn't want this man to become a part of the Smithsonian exhibit. Because and really this was brought to our attention by Huck. Huck was like, Olivia, we need a body. She's like, but I can't. How do you know that I'm involved with this? He was like, I know you're involved with this, Olivia, and you can make this call. Please make this call. She was like, well, how do you know this? He's like, because you're one of them now. And it's like, oh gosh. So Jake
hashtag truth. Hashtag truth, LBJ. He called her right out.
Shall be my companion in the flames, so be it.
LBJ, Huck called her right out. And that coming from Huck, it is significant because Huck, you have to recall, he's the one that used to be that patriot, number one, okay? He, number two, is the one who has worshipped at Olivia's altar in a way that is nectar-free. Okay,
that's so good. That is so good because Jake is the other one that worships at Olivia's altar. And as Sweet as Z says, Olivia's cup runneth over, and Grace is like, LBJ, remember, Jake let us know that he hits the spot in her that no one, not even exalted Fitz, could hit. So yes, there is an altar that is pretty flowing. Sorry, it's making me feel the feelings from here. I'm feeling the nectar feeling.
Yeah, and LBJ, Yolanda R. Baker was first in the chat to say Olivia's nectar is overflowing. Okay, and also LBJ, we had some verifications in the chat.
Absolutely.
Idon Matrix reminded us that Jake was named the director of the NSA in the 5th season, so it is NSA, right? Yep. And so that's confirmed. And Idon Matrix also said that I think Jake and Liv are ride or die like Maya and Eli.
That's a great comparison.
That's a good one.
That's a great comparison. So if you think about that, this really could turn into that based off of all that we saw this episode, right? So kind of tying out this Jake Olivia story, this episode, we get to this huge power struggle. So we saw the first power struggle in the bedroom. And remember, I told you there's the bedroom component and the boardroom component. And the whole thing about it has been gray. And Jake is gray, Olivia is gray, and somebody's got to define the colors and push it towards black and push it towards white. And Olivia ends up being that person. How does she do that? Because she is now trying to wear the white hat. She's wearing the white hat while she's looking like the part of her mother, the darkness and the light. Remember, I talked about that. Then she's also wearing the white hat in so much that she's trying to save this man's life. So that's the light part coming through there. While she's doing this, Jake is running point on his end. And he's like, listen, we got to take this dude out. And there can be no evidence of him ever. He has to be an exhibit in the Smithsonian. And so he convinces now presidential Mellie, POTUS Mellie, red button pushing Mellie, red phone access Mellie. Should I continue? Should we have a For the Mellie challenge? Should we have a For the Mellie challenge?
It's so good.
I'm not gonna do it. So anyway, so we have we got this new Mellie. We got this all-powerful Mellie sitting in the Oval, and she's now taking Jake's bait. And she's like, "Okay, we gotta take him out." Olivia's like, "You're not gonna take this dude out. We can't. He's a patriot." She said, "Olivia, you pled your case. Jake pled his, and now we have to act on it." And so Olivia's like, "Okay, fine. You think you're gonna act on it? I got it." Olivia does an ultimate power play, which if you want to go into later, we can. If you haven't seen the episode, go take a look. In a nutshell, Olivia has Huck go up with a high-powered rifle as well as a live feed. Shout out to all the product placement for Microsoft and their surfaces and their phones that they're using this entire season. They've been using Scandal. I'm like, y'all don't want to use iPhones, but whatever. So Microsoft, it has product placement in Scandal. Shout out to Microsoft.
And their magical printer, LBJ.
If let me tell you, Dan said something about that printer too. Listen, if anyone decides to make that printer, we need one. Like, I would love to have one of those printers.
I have so many things that need to be printed urgently and stuck on the wall.
Or just for fun. Just for fun.
Right.
Like, just for fun.
Very urgent.
Like, you want to come over? Let's push the demo button and watch it work. Okay?
That's right. LBJ, my windows are bare right now. Not a picture stuck on there, not a picture in sight. Exactly. I need that printer. I need it.
We got a lot of stuff to do back here in this background. So
that's right.
A magical printer would be amazing. So anyway, we see this whole thing play out, and they're now in the situation room. They are going forth with the kill for this man in Bashran. Well, you heard me talking about this Bashrani tea that's supposed to be amazing. Well, the ambassador to Bashran showed up to the White House and had a meeting with Mellie. She was tea sipping Mellie at this point, and she's sipping this good tea with this man, and they're talking, and Olivia remembers this. Olivia goes and she talks to the man in his home, and she's like, "You all are holding this man hostage, and we need you to release him. Give him back to the United States of America. If you don't, I give you my Microsoft tablet, and you can see your two children swinging on the swing." That's your son and daughter, right? Yeah. Well, I have a person who's willing to shoot them on my command if you do not hand this man back over to us right now. He's like. She's like, "I would." And Huck is the shooter, guys. Huck is there like, "Olivia, this is a bluff. You know, Huck cannot take out a child." And she's like, "This is a bluff. This is a bluff." And Olivia knows it's a bluff, but she can't say, "Yes, it's a bluff" on the phone in front of the man's face. So Olivia says, "We're going to do it in 5, 4 to stall and stretch for time." She stretches for time successfully. The man hands over the Bashrani prisoner, CIA spy, and then a button pushing Mellie has the troops going through the man's cell. The man has been moved to a different location, and they cannot find the prisoner to take him out. What happens in the situation room? Here comes Olivia Pope walking in with her Microsoft phone. She's like, "Madam President, there's someone on the phone for you. You need to speak. It's Mr. T. Sippin Bashrani." He's like, "Ma'am, we've handed the man back over to the USA. Congratulations." She's like, "Oh, thank you." Olivia has come in, and I don't want to say the T word, but she has come in and umped Jake. She came in and umped him. She came in there and she said, "Listen, I am the boss. I run this." And we heard her say, "I am the boss" several times this episode as well. And she tells him figuratively, "I'm the boss and I'm running this." And Mellie played it very cool. Shout out to her for playing it cool in that moment. And then we skip to the end of the episode where Olivia's like, "You know what? This is not going to work. I'm the boss and you got to do what I tell you to do." So guess what? Go back to "Nobody cares about Vanessa." And you go back, and she said, her exact words to him were, "Go home to your wife, Admiral Ballard." And I was like, "Oh, come on, shady lady." That was really, that was really, really good. Very, very good.
And the most condescending thing a person can do is apologize for no reason, right? When you apologize for no reason, you're really saying to someone, "Hey, you're parting this to me. It makes no never mind because I am in control." Jake came in and he's like, "Oh, I know I had a plan and I pitched it to you and you didn't like it. So I pitched it to Mellie and Mellie liked it and we were activating, but you didn't want me to. But then you ultimately executed your plan, which outdid our plan. But I'm sorry about that, boo." And she said, "You know what? I apologize." Okay, because she basically said, "I let it happen." She basically took all of his ownership away, saying, "Listen, Jake, you are of no consequence. Everything that happened because I allowed it to happen." She said, "I made the choice to sleep with you and I shouldn't have, and I am not going to do it anymore." In that moment, she once again reminded him who was in control. And what did Jake once again, crestfallen, once again, LBJ, he, skulks away. He's now heartbroken again. Once again, he can't get to dance in the sun with Olivia. This power play was tremendous. And LBJ, there was another little power struggle that came up during this whole thing. And that was the Mellie Olivia relationship. Do you want to talk about that?
That was one of the best scenes.
That whole storyline.
Yeah, that was one of the best storylines this evening.
Yeah.
And I loved it because we got to see these women who have really fortified this sisterhood. Think about this. They've been together through Fitz's campaign, Fitz's elections, and his 2 elections, as well as both terms as president. Okay. Not only have they been together in that regard for the sake of the republic, if you will, they've also been together that Olivia is the mistress. And so they were together without being together. Olivia kissed Fitz and tasted Mellie. Mellie kissed Fitz and tasted Olivia. They know the nectar. They've shared moonshine. They've shared so much together as wife and mistress, as freelancer or as consultant to executive. They've had so many different conversations. And now post marriage, after the divorce of Fitz and Mellie, Olivia and Mellie have built this weird sisterhood. And in this sisterhood, we see that these women have grown together. And Olivia continues to be a constant for Mellie. And Mellie, although she wavers, is a constant for Olivia. And Olivia is the one to keep Mellie grounded and bring her back to reality, that they are in this together. And that there is a strong sisterhood between them that no one can separate. Hashtag Maki Dada from The Color Purple. Me and my sister never. Maki Dada. Me us have one heart. Maki Dada. And that's what Olivia and Mellie are. And so this episode, we got to see Mellie in the Oval, Mellie sitting in power, Mellie taking it to the head. We saw her as conceited Mellie. We saw her as self-absorbed Mellie. Olivia had to bring her back to reality at the very end to say, hey, listen, boo-boo kitty. That shout out to another show that comes on. Hey, listen, boo-boo kitty. And she said to her, this isn't your office. This is the office of the people. You are here to protect this office and the republic. She said, you are leasing this office for 4 terms with the option to renew for an additional 4 years should the people decide to keep you in this thing, ma'am. And also remember, you have no power. I have all the power. You're here to do what I tell you to do. Remember the agreement that we had? Don't you remember? And sidebar, didn't you love how she sounded like her father every time that she stood in her authority?
You took the words out of my mouth.
The way that Olivia, she had essences of Maya and Rowan this entire episode. And I'm like, are y'all really going to do this to us this final season of Scandal? Like, what an amazing way to put a period to the end of an amazing story we've watched for 6 seasons now in its 7th season. And we see here, Mellie really tried to Bigfoot Olivia, and she's like, listen, if I make a call, if I give an order, the order stands. Don't you go take the order and then go freelancing off there. She really tried to play the crap out of her when she said that.
Yeah.
Like, oh, dang, man. Then Olivia told her, she said, listen, 3 things will ensure your success in this office here, ma'am. She said, 1, you don't ignore me. 2, she said, I am always right. And I know it is frustrating, but get used to it. But 3, she said, there is only us. Could you imagine her also saying that to Fitz?
LBJ, you know what? I gotta say, and I'm worried. I'm really worried, LBJ, because I feel like the phlegm that you have was indeed implanted by a command in B613, because LBJ, you are falling for it. Everyone, Olivia is manipulating Mellie.
But here's the thing, no, I'm not falling for it. But I'm really not falling for it, because what I was also going to say is that I was trying to bait you into saying that, because I said, don't you see her saying this to Fitz? And I was trying to lead you into that by saying, yes, she did say this to Fitz. And this is the way that she's manipulating the entire situation. She's not dumb. Remember, I said she's her mother and her father.
Yes. And LBJ, you know what? I'm sorry. Our psychic connection didn't catch that time. It's
the phlegm. It's the phlegm.
It's the phlegm, because I also have it. Everyone, LBJ and I, obviously, we don't prep for this chat. Okay, the show goes off, we take a bathroom break, and we log in. Okay,
literally.
And so we don't have time to prep. So we have to send each other psychic messages throughout the chat. And I didn't pick that one up, LBJ.
And we still don't have a producer in our final season. We still don't have a producer.
We don't got no producer. We don't got no sound effects. Man, we are just we in trouble, LBJ. But I will tell you this, Olivia, you hit the nail on the head when you talked about Olivia sounding like her father. And LBJ, you know what I was sending you a psychic message to say was to compare some of Olivia's dialogue tonight to some key Eli Rowan Pope speeches that we've heard.
Absolutely.
Right. Yeah. Mm-hmm. So when she was there, telling, Mellie, giving her this whole hype speech of, it's us, girlfriend. LBJ, what she was really saying is, I am the hell, I am the high water.
Come on, Janiyah.
Basically what she said, LBJ. I mean, to paraphrase, okay? Because what she was basically saying, she was using terms like us and partnership and we are the world. I mean, listen, we're doing it for, sisters, we're doing it for ourselves. She was like totally using this woman-centric propaganda, LBJ, but what she was really saying is, do not cross me. That's what she was saying. And the thing about Mellie is she wasn't duped by that. She knew that is what Olivia was saying. Mellie ain't new to this thing, okay? Yeah, she knows exactly what Olivia was saying. And what Mellie understood in that moment was, wait a second. By being in this role, I signed up to be Olivia's pawn. And I forgot for a second. I forgot the terms of this relationship. And you know what? Olivia checked her and Mellie said, oh, that's right. Oh, I remember now because Mellie knows what's up. She wants.
You sounded like Issa Rae when you said that. Oh, that's right. You sounded like Insecure.
LBJ, you know her whole show's about my life, but we'll talk about that later. But LBJ, she's clearly got cameras in my apartment following me to and fro.
Really, Janiyah?
LBJ,
that statement could go so many different places. Remember the poll that you had in your background for a little while too?
Hashtag these streets, LBJ. Hashtag these streets. LBJ. So, I mean, as much as we watched Olivia and Mellie really in a rhythm, throughout the course of the episode, really, we saw them politicking and collaborating. LBJ, what's really happening is Olivia is leaving the easy stuff to Mellie, and she is taking care of the country. And she reminded Mellie of that in that moment. So LBJ, I just agree with you. She truly has stepped into the role of command. And the challenge of it is that she's in denial about what it means to be command. At this point, we've had two different people try to check her and remind her. Jake tried to tell her, listen, you think some trade-offs are coming? You think you can avoid trade-offs? You can't. Okay. Huck tried to tell her, you think you can avoid trade-offs? You can't. And LBJ, she still thinks that she can avoid trade-offs and somehow bring some kind of virtue into the role of command. Girlfriend, you may be in hashtag denial. You know who else, LBJ, told her that she was going to have to make some trade-offs? We're now to the family dinner, okay?
Wait, before we go there, I need to close out the Mellie Olivia moment with your thoughts on Olivia's manipulative question, that rhetorical question. Should have been a rhetorical question, but she forced her to articulate her answer. And Yolanda Baker brings out as well. And she asks her, which do you want to be when she asks? Do you remember her question?
Oh, I remember, LBJ.
Take it away. Yes, do it. Yeah. I'll be Mellie, and then you do that. I'll be Mellie at the end.
Okay. All right. So I'll be Olivia. She said, listen, if you want to, she said, you know what? You and I together as partners, me and you, we have the opportunity to shift the paradigms, break down the barriers, change this world. And she said, and to make a woman being president not a novelty, but a reality for years to come and for forever. And she said, if you do what I tell you to do, you will be a monument. If you don't, you will be an asterisk. And she sat down, folded her arms and said, which one do you want to be?
I want to be a monument. I want to be a monument.
Mm-hmm. Hair flip. I'm done here. That's basically what Olivia said.
Oh, wait, do it again. Flip your hair again.
Hair flip. I'm done here. Okay. You know, what Olivia does.
Oh, go on.
When Olivia does the hair flip, really the conversation is over. Okay. And LBJ, everybody in the chat everybody was super struck by this. Okay. Basically, Yolanda R. Baker is like, do you want to be a monument or and she didn't even spell it out. She put an asterisk symbol because that's how minor
she did. She did. Yeah.
She's basically saying, listen, do you want to accomplish the dream? Or do you want to be a passing fad? And you're right, LBJ. She forced her to say it. And so now the terms are clear yet again. But heads up, I think we all know it's going to get murky as the season goes on. They're going to continue to battle. And actually, LBJ, before we start to talk about Papa Pope and Olivia, why don't we, since we're at the White House, why don't we talk about Cyrus? Because we've talked already about the Olivia Mellie kind of dynamic that's happening, where it's like Olivia's really the boss. Mellie thought she was a boss for 5 minutes and remember that she wasn't. LBJ, there's someone else who's experiencing a little power, shake up, and it's Cyrus, LBJ. The storyline with Cyrus is that we're watching him be deployed to do relatively minor tasks. Okay. Yeah. He's not making policy decisions. He's going out and advocating for the things that Mellie and Olivia want. He's doing road shows. He's over here negotiating with Senator X, Y, and Z. He's not out there in the streets, LBJ. And he finds himself in a conversation with the senator because the bill that they want to pass, meaning Mellie and Olivia, they're calling it the Vargas bill, okay, named for the slain, actually elected president, all right? Yep. They're calling it the Vargas bill, and what it is free college for young people, okay? Or just not young people, I'm not going to be ageist, for free college, okay?
For Americans, yeah, for Americans.
Free college.
Imagine that, folks. Imagine that.
Wouldn't that be nice? So LBJ, free college for Americans, and she deploys Cyrus to go and negotiate with the one senator whose vote that they need. LBJ, Cyrus, in that moment, having a negotiation, take us there.
Cyrus essentially trying to have the negotiation, Janiyah, was like watching someone try to audition for Hamilton and they don't even know the book. Like they don't even know the music book. It's like they went in there and said 525,600 minutes. Like, sir, you're at the wrong show. That's Rent. This is Hamilton. Please learn the book for Hamilton and audition using Hamilton music. And I felt bad for him because, like Olivia, Cyrus had new hair. Olivia had new hair. With new hair, attitude too, And I think someone mentioned, Sweetest Z mentions Olivia's new wig too. I believe that when a woman has a new hairstyle, she has a new attitude. You got a new attitude too with your new hairstyle as well.
That's right.
And Cyrus had a new hair. He had new hair.
Yeah.
Woman, but Cyrus had new hair, new attitude. When a man gets a fresh cut, you can't tell us anything. So he walked in swagged out and confident, trying to get this woman to buy in. And we see that it did not work. Cyrus essentially has been reduced to, like you said, doing these menial tasks, and he doesn't even realize it. He doesn't even. And the woman tried to help him realize it, and she hit him with this whole Maya Angelou and "Still You Rise" speech that she gave him. And she essentially said, "You are the hope and the dream, not of the slave, but you are the hope and the dream of every liberal in America." She said, "You're gay. You have a husband. You have a black daughter. You are the vice president of the United States of America. You worked in the White House under another president." She said, "And you think
under a Hispanic president, LBJ.
Yeah, under a Hispanic president." She said, "You did all this stuff, and you're just going to be sitting up in here doing." He didn't even get it. He did not get it. And she was trying to push him, and Cyrus did not get it. What's going to come of Cyrus? I think that man's going to implode before the season's over, and Cyrus may not be anymore by the end of the season, because remember Cyrus had that heart attack in like season 1 or 2 where he just couldn't take it anymore. He couldn't take it. He was the help. He identified it. Well, and ultimately, this episode proved that Cyrus remains the help.
Well, LBJ, I think the last time we thought Cyrus was the help, he became the vice president. So I don't underestimate Cyrus, not for a friggin' second, okay? And here's what I think happened in Cyrus's mind. I think Cyrus has always had his sights on the presidency. It's always been in his sights. Even before, when he was saying, "Oh, it can never be, it can never be," he was working with Fitz to shape a world where it could be. So I think Cyrus has been working this plan since day one.
That was so believable the way you said that. The way it could be. It sounded like you were at a debate tonight. You were getting the American people to believe in you.
And LBJ, do you want to be a monument? Okay, or an asterisk? That's the question I have. All right, LBJ, Cyrus.
I want to be a monument.
LBJ Cyrus wants to be a monument, clearly. And when he sat down with this senator, and he's telling the senator things that are like, please help me do what Mellie wants me to do. And the senator is basically saying, oh, I don't want to do what Mellie wants to do. I want to do what you want to do, but I want to do it 4 years from now with you as president. I think that the conversation in his head was, I was already planning to do that. Is this the time for me to kind of create this new alliance with this lady and start activating? And he auditions at LBJ in his mind. Is this going to be my route? Is this the way I'm going to get there? And LBJ, what ends up happening is that he finds out that he actually has an opportunity to continue to leverage Mellie and Olivia for a little longer. He goes back to the White House feeling somebody in the chat was saying it. Everybody in the chat was like, oh, Cyrus is underappreciated. He feels underappreciated. S.I. Porter said, Cyrus feels underappreciated. I love Cyrus, evil that he is. We all love him. But LBJ, he was feeling unappreciated. He then, after this conversation where he gets this opportunity to get some new allies, he goes back to the White House and gets some encouragement from Mellie, gets a little affirmation. And he says, you know what? Let me continue to work my current angle. And he goes back and he tells that senator, no, thank you. I'm not going to work my plan with you because I've got another plan in the books. So no, LBJ, I don't think that we're in a situation where Cyrus is the help in the sense that Olivia has been the help. Olivia has been the help in a way that she has not known. Okay, she's been in denial about it, and that's what her mother was trying to shake her out of when she called her the help. But Cyrus, he's the help with an angle. He is on his way, LBJ, so he's choosing to be the help. He's there knowingly. Okay, so I don't trust him either. All right.
Well, we've got a couple folks in the chat who are on board with their Cyrus commentary. Lacey Rideout says Cyrus is a true patriot. Ms. L says, I think Cyrus is a Brutus. We also have someone here. S.I. Porter peaked the new hair for Cyrus as well. So S.I. Porter also says, I do think Cyrus got it, which showed his frustration. And then Lacey Rideout comes back and says Cyrus gets the job done. So it remains to be seen what's going to happen with Cyrus this season, guys. I think Cyrus is going to end how he started, in darkness. When it's all said and done, Cyrus, the season is going to end in darkness when it's all said and done. And I don't know if they're going to end the season like they do, like 25 years later, Cyrus became like, I hope they don't do that, but if they do, they might. But I think it's going to be something dark, or if it's going to be like a boom, this is how it all ends, and then like it's left up to us, the viewers' imagination, and then we'll put that whole thing apart here and give everyone give some a demise, bring some to their demise, and give some a happily ever after ending.
And LBJ, you know what? Anyway, so I'll save my comments, LBJ, for another time for how I think they're going to end the season.
Oh, Lord, you're already there in your mind.
I have some thoughts, LBJ, because if there's one thing we know from Shonda, there's always foreshadowing. Every single thing that's happening right now.
Oh yeah, everything means something.
Absolutely. Everything means something. And so I'm sitting there trying to pick apart, what is Shonda trying to tell us with this nugget that she's dropping?
What do you think about this then? Because here's what I'm trying to figure out. The reporter, Joshua Stewart. What is she trying to figure out what is she trying to present with us with Joshua Stewart? Is this another strange bedfellow for Olivia because he's a new Splackavelli for her? Or is this another opportunity for us to have a storyline develop?
LBJ, I don't even know if the chat has even addressed him. Is he like a non-issue in the chat?
No, people were talking about Reporter Boy earlier.
Find it, LBJ, because I think we need to hear what the chat has to say about him.
If you were talking about Joshua Stewart, the reporter, earlier, bring it back in the chat now so we can go back up, because it was early in the chat, and I don't even think that it'll let us scroll back that far.
Right, because you guys, we're in this. The interface now is very different from the past, where we could really.
We ain't got no sound effects still.
LBJ, at least we got our lower thirds back, so we'll take what we can get. And LBJ, let's give the storyline just in 2 seconds. So what has actually happened is there was a point at which Olivia was just talking on one of the political shows, and the guy who was the commentator, the reporter, the host, his name was Joshua. What was his last name? I didn't write it down.
Joshua Stewart.
Joshua Stewart. And Joshua Stewart, he really was giving her the 1, 2, 3 on that show. And in fact, he cut her off. And she
wanted to give him the 4, 5, and the 6.
And he cut her off right before she got to 6. And because he knew if she got to 6, he was going to be shut down. LBJ, he literally...
If she got to 6, he had to leave with the 8, 9, and the 10. The 7, 8, 9, 10.
Yeah. And we ain't going to see him again, LBJ. No, because LBJ, once you get to 10, you're finished. All right? And LBJ, it actually ended his show 30 seconds early just to make sure Olivia didn't get the last word. And 30 seconds in airtime, that's huge. He ended it early. Yeah, he ended it early just so he could get the last word. Fast forward toward the end of the show, he traipses himself, traipse right on down the halls of the White House, and he invites her to dinner. He's feeling the
that's why
hot.
I thought there could be more to this story. He gained access to the White House and to Olivia's office. How did that happen? Why did that happen? Am I reading too much into this? Maybe I am.
Well, LBJ, remember, he actually answered that question. He was there for a press-related matter. And so that's why
I didn't buy that, because you can't. Those credentials in the White House only allow access to certain areas, and I don't think that you can get access that close to the Oval without having to. Maybe I'm reading too much into this, but I think there might be more there.
LBJ, I'll tell you one thing. If there's one thing we do know for sure, is that no one can be trusted, especially people that sleep with Olivia. She does not know how to pick a man to save her life. She is the worst. She is the absolute worst in these streets. And so what ends up happening, of course, is that Olivia, she, shoos him away. Shoo, fly, don't bother me. Okay. But then she circles back after she has let go of Jake, because she again has now shooed that fly away. And she goes back to Joshua, and she, on her terms, yet again, LBJ, on her terms, she invites him to bed. And
she invited that man to room 112 where the players dwell, okay? That's exactly what Olivia Pope did. I said, Olivia, are you really 112 in this dude talking about if you are available, this is what we're looking for. And he took the bait, and he's like, oh, let me sip my bourbon and meet her and leave in 30 seconds and go get poped, go get popped and poped. And that's what he did that episode.
But LBJ, who got popped and poped? We don't know yet, because like you said, what's he up to? But LBJ, I have to tell you, I wrote down just a quote from what the last thing she said to him when she told him he had permission to come and sleep with her.
Permission.
She gave him the instructions that he was to follow. And the last instructions she said, because they were sitting physically together, and she was going to leave first so he could follow in a way that, nobody would know that they were leaving and heading to the same destination. She said to him, give it 30 seconds and then you come. LBJ, you know what she was doing? She was telling him, listen, you're at my beck and call. Yeah. This is on my terms. What do you say to a dog? Come here, boy. Come. LBJ.
Oh, was that your assistant's dog?
Right,
was that your assistant's dog?
Get that dog out of here, assistant. You know we don't allow pets. Can you believe that assistant brought that in here? LBJ. So that's yet again Olivia having a really already unfortunate relationship with a man as usual.
Yeah, so but anyway, after we close out, though, I think we need to go. You said that she has a problem picking men. One of the men that she'll never have a problem picking in her life is her father, because she had no option to pick him.
Good segue, LBJ. Hashtag segue.
Oh, come on. Hashtag segue. I come through with the segue.
So good. Did you guys witness that? This is when you get a sense of the LBJ talent. Okay, LBJ has had
even in my illness.
In his illness, LBJ has had this natural segue ability. Okay, since I met him freshman year in college. Give it to him, LBJ. Take that segue. So good.
So I think that Olivia has this opportunity with her father she's forcing this opportunity to really prove to her father that she can be successful. And I think it's going to be to her, it might be to her quasi demise, if she continues down this path. So let's set this whole thing up. Olivia comes walking in. She sits down. Who comes walking in? And Olivia's seated rather at the table. She's walking
seated,
in. She was walking in like this when she walked into that little nightclub lounge thing. I was like, oh, Olivia, look at the nectar. Look at the nectar.
She was shaking hands, waving to the people.
Yeah, she came in real nectarish. It was it was like she was handing out slices like, you want some here, you want some here, here's some for you, and some for you too. And so she's sitting down at their spot, and who comes walking into dinner? And the first thing that we hear Olivia say is one of her father's lines. You're late. I was like, what is going on here?
So good.
And she tells her father, you're late. And then the sommelier comes to the table. He starts pouring the wine. And her dad says, Lafayette 91 Bordeaux. And she says, Lafayette 91 Bordeaux. And then they commence to having this conversation here.
Yes.
Set up this conversation with Olivia and Rowan. I will try my best to bring Rowan because I know that you're going to make me do it anyway.
LBJ, I was just saying, go ahead on mute, get a sip of water, do a little hacking.
I told you to put a Ricola in my mouth to get myself ready to do Rowan. Okay, I have my water here to get ready for Rowan as well.
Please get ready because guess what? This is the beginning of season 7. Okay, the last season of Scandal. All right, and we need you to do right by us. So you get ready to do Papa Pope, but I'm going to set it up. We all recall that in the early days of Scandal, Olivia was very grudgingly going to dinner with her father. Now, as we started to peel back the onion, over time, we realized that this dinner was just a very complex power play, right? It was the father making sure, so he thought, that he was grooming Olivia into the woman he wanted her to be, right? And so these dinners were his way of just having this faux normalcy, when in reality, he was monitoring the progress of his project. All right. And Olivia, for many years, she resented the dinner. She hated the dinner. But then over time, she realized what the family dinner was, LBJ. And boy, did she resent it then. And so, LBJ, we watched the father-daughter dinner come and go. There were moments where they were actually enjoying themselves and reminiscing in a real way. And there were other moments where they were sending each other messages about being about to kill each other. They've leveraged the dinner many ways. So LBJ, here we are now at dinner where literally the roles have reversed. Olivia is command. Eli is the one who is just a citizen of the Republic, okay? And Olivia is the one who has ordered the wine that she wanted, not what he wanted, okay? She is the one that is seated when he comes to dinner. And LBJ, he comes in. And he doesn't want to be there. He's resentful, okay? And she has the nerve to ask him how it's going, all right? And he says, you know what? I can't leave my house because you're watching me. And she says, oh, I'm not watching you, Father. She said, if I were watching you, that would imply that, I don't trust you, or that I think that you would flee in some way. I'm not watching you. And LBJ, that is when he proceeds to set the record straight. Give it to us, LBJ. What did Eli Rowan Pope say to his daughter when she was sitting there feeling herself?
I know you're watching me. I know that you've got cameras on me. No, don't try to get me to believe, Olivia, for one moment that you don't have cameras on me. Remember, I used to do this job. I used to be what you think you are. In fact, you are like look into the window of a mirror. You want to be me. You are me. And as much as I try to create something new, all I could create, Olivia, was me. You think you have all the control. You do, don't you? You think you have all the control in the world. You think you have all the buttons. You can push these buttons and make things light up and make things appear with these buttons. But these buttons can light you up. But one day, Olivia, you will discover that all the lights are dimming, and you will notice that something is wrong, and all the buttons don't seem to work anymore, Olivia. And it will be a day of reckoning. And I say this because I know you cannot have it all, Olivia. You cannot have it all. Olivia says to her, watch me. I was like, oh man, what is going on? And it's a restaurant over this Lafayette 91 Bordeaux. Where can we find the Bordeaux? Because it makes you monologue like this and respond like that.
Gosh.
It was an amazing moment.
And again, guys, we missed the sound effects because we needed to do an applause, LBJ. We needed an applause sound effect. Because that was even through the phlegm you brought it.
That moment was brought to you by Ricola. Ricola.
Listen, clearly Ricola sent us a check because we have just promoted you. Now, LBJ, now you have to remember, how many times has Olivia been the one sitting there telling her father, okay, what he was not about to do? And every single time he said, I am the hell and the high water in some form or another, and I am going to do what it is I want to do. So LBJ, the roles have reversed so clearly. And I think it is just beyond poetic for the show to end this way. So LBJ, I can't believe we have covered every storyline.
We did, and we're not even 11:30. Can you believe that? It's so good.
We did it, LBJ.
We really are kind of like at an hour because I was late. I'm sorry for being late. I was late. I totally was not prepared tonight. I'm in the basement. I was upstairs in our bedroom, and yeah, I was not prepared. I was taking my notes, and I was like, oh shoot, I got to go downstairs. I got to keep quiet because the baby sleeps. So thanks for bearing with us.
And LBJ and Candace in the chat, guys, and you know, I have to make fun of LBJ and Candace because they're parents now. But you guys know, everybody, all of us, we are so happy for you guys and so proud of you. And you use that baby Grayson as an excuse anytime you want because we love him, LBJ.
Thank you. Here's Grayson, everybody. I know you want to see him. Here's Grayson. That's Grayson. He's growing up. He's growing up, little juicy boy.
Oh my gosh, and guys, he has so much personality. He is so LBJ and Candace, just so you know. Everyone, thank you so much for joining us tonight. This has been so good. It's just reunited. LBJ, I'll be the sound. I'll be the music while you close us out. Reunited.
Wait, you know there's a delay, so it's not gonna work though. But no, so let's do the Fresh Prince version of that. You sing it. I'll be the aunt. I'll be the aunt and uncle. I mean the aunts on the side. I mean I'll be Jennifer Lewis's character and Will Smith on the side. You sing the reunited part.
Okay. Reunited and it feels so good.
Go on, kiss a feel, baby.
Because we understood.
Oh, but there's one perfect fit, and this one is it. We are so excited that you have rejoined us for the final season for our Scandalous Scandal recap. I am elated that you all joined. Before we leave, though, I need to hear from Janiyah and hear from some of you. Hey, Kimmy J, you're glad we're back. We're glad that you're back. Deborah Battle also joined us before we left.
Yay!
I left is here. Thank you, everyone, for the Rowan Pope shout out. I know I love Rowan Pope. I need to know what prediction. I don't want no takeaway because
LBJ Shar 90303. Oh my gosh, guys, this is a reunion.
Hey Shar,
Lacey Rideout is so good.
Yes. So Janiyah, what is your prediction for this season? We've kind of done takeaways already, but that's prediction. Right. Give us what you're thinking how the season's going to end if you want to be so bold and out the gate episode 1, because whatever you say here, it's got to be it almost because there's no other season after this.
LBJ, you know, I'm gonna hold on sharing what I'm starting to think about how this season will end. But
Please write it down and put a date on it so we can go back and revisit it.
And LBJ, and I will make a note. And LBJ, I will share one prediction right now, which is that we know this season is not going to end without us seeing from one Maya Pope. The question is, who will bring her to town? Now, we are watching Eli Rowan Pope become more and more and more disenchanted with his daughter. Will he be the one to call Maya Pope? Are we going to have a family reunion? LBJ, let's see.
So you took the words right out of my mouth for my prediction.
What's your prediction?
I said this at the end of season 6, that I believe that there's going to be a trifecta of popes. They're going to come together, and we're going to see a trifecta there, and it's going to be epic. It's going to be epic because the baby's got to be the one to lead them. She's got to be the one to lead them. And it's gonna be something, because we've never seen the three of them together like this since we saw Yara Shahidi playing young Olivia Pope. Yara Shahidi from Blackish, and we saw her playing young Olivia Pope when they were all together in the house. And so we need to see them as Olivia as an adult with her mom and dad interacting with each other. And that's going to be something to see, because we see the mother-daughter dynamic, we see the father-daughter dynamic. We need to see the mother-father-daughter dynamic as if they were in one home. We've got to show that. And I'm predicting that we're going to see that this season in some form and fashion.
Yes, I believe it. I believe it, LBJ. And oh my God. Anyway, I have so many predictions. We got to go. Everyone, this has been so good. LBJ, can I just say it is so good to see you again?
I know. Great to see you too.
Oh my gosh. Everyone, have a good night. Thank you for joining us next week. Same time, same place.
Yes, we love you for watching. We'll see you next week. Bye-bye.